G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. G'day guys and welcome to Casual Rage 131, where we're going to casually rage out about the topics of the week. I hope you're all doing well. It's been an interesting one. I hate it when I finish a stream, like finish a Casual Rage, and then like the very next day there's something that drops or there's some big news thing or something like that, and then I got to wait a whole week. I know I can do videos, but I've still got to wait a whole week before I can actually stream and talk about it. And I think we had that situation last week with Idris Elba, with him being in talks for being in a Star Wars movie, which we'll talk about shortly. But and then, of course, there's always like things like trailers and stuff that drop. So we had the game trailer that dropped, which I did do a video on. And we'll talk about that a little bit as well. We'll talk about Lucasfilm and their movie announcements, the delays with some of their movies. Anyway, I could just start rambling about them, but I won't. I'll wait. We've got some news on the Andor budget. So I don't come across much good news when it comes to Star Wars very often. I mean, people out there, the SEALs out there and all of that sort of thing, I think they'd like to think that, you know, Star Wars is doing well or in a good place. It's really not. It really isn't in a good place at all. But yeah, so we got a little bit to talk about there. And then we're going to talk about some unrelated stuff to Star Wars. There's a couple of things that we'll go through, and of course we've got Seal of the Week. But I hope again that you're all doing really well. Let's see who we've got here. We've got Nitrium in the chat. He was mentioning about there's a couple of comments there about Indy 5 and how the Rotten Tomatoes score is starting to sort of go up a little bit, but it's still not good. I mean, it's still at 56%. That's not good. And then 46% of top critics. I don't understand, like, Rotten Tomatoes. I don't really use it. I don't really pay much attention to it. And especially after, what was it? Was it Captain Marvel? That they, like, these sites can skew their figures as much as they want and make it seem like a movie or a show is better than it actually is. And it always seems to be where the critic side of things is always really high and then the audience score is really low, or vice versa. The critic score is really low and the audience score is really high. So I don't really pay too much attention to that. That was some pretty big news, though, that the chief financial officer for Disney just quit. That's why am I not surprised? They're losing money hand over fist with a lot of the stuff that they're coming out with. And it's because a lot of their stuff is just virtue signaling garbage that's coming out. So Trillium's here. How you doing? Or he said he's going to be a little bit late, but that's all right. We got OG Star Wars. How you doing, Alora? Good to see you. And yes, please smash the like button. I'd appreciate that. We've got Corey. We've got Soul Assassin. We've got Red Hoodwinked. We've even got George Lucas in the chat. How you doing, George? Mike Hill, the great Mike Hill. How you doing, Mike? He sent me, I got a seal off him late in the day today. I did have 4 already there, but this one trumped another one, so it's definitely going in there. That was a hot mic. Is it okay now? You're saying it's okay now? I hope I'm okay. We've got Fuck Norris in the chat. How you doing? What's up, members? Drop some member emojis. We've got the nuisance bird here. Cell Shade is in the chat. How you doing, Cell Shade? We've got Star Wars Marvel Purist is here. How you doing? Tim Smith is in the chat. How you doing, Tim? Let me scroll down a little bit. Abaru, I think that's how you might say that. How you doing? Good to see you. And we're all caught up with everyone I can see here. And any lurkers, any of you guys that have come in to rewatch the stream, you weren't able to catch it live, I appreciate all of you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate all of you. Chief Financial Officer left. Guess KK is next to leave. Yeah, we'll see. She'll leave when she's ready to leave. She's not going to be forced out or pushed out by anyone. 100%. She's not going to do anything without it's her wanting to do it. And whether or not that's a part of the contract that was in place, or whether or not it's just because they actually do believe that Kathleen Kennedy is doing a great job. Because you got to remember, the people that work at Disney, the people that work at Lucasfilm, are all on the same wavelength. They're all on the same plateau, you know, of we've got to push more female, lead female actors and strong, powerful women. Or we've got to make sure that we've got the diversity check marks all ticked off. Yeah, it's I don't know. I keep saying I'm getting sick of what we keep getting in entertainment, and it seems to me that the quality of not just the quality of the writing and the quality of the performances are bad. It's everything else as well. Like the CGI in a lot of things recently is worse than what it was back in the 90s, some of it. You know, I've heard that the CGI, and we watched that little clip from The Flash last week, the CGI at the moment is absolutely atrocious from what we've been seeing and from what we've had in the past as well. I mean, you think about something like The Matrix, right? Now, especially in the sequels and stuff like that, there's some shoddy CGI in there. But I still think that what we're getting today is worse than that. And then you think about like with Lucasfilm and their volume, the volume that they keep using, it really... I still think that maybe a green screen or the blue screens that they use or whatever it is that they use way back when is better than this volume that they're using. At least, you know, because it constantly looks like they're cramped on these sets. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to move. And I think the most obvious one out of all of them is in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show where Leia's running away from Obi-Wan. And he's right there and can grab her, but he just sort of lets her go. because that's what the script told him to do. It takes away from it. I mean, I think a lot of people noticed that. Not the SEALs, because they intentionally miss stuff like that. Luke Stone, roll your dog. Yeah, roll your dog. I actually got to record that and put that on my StreamYard so I can just click it. But yeah, I'm quite amazed at how far Hollywood has fallen, not just with their writing and their the shit that they keep giving us, but with the CGI stuff as well. It's quite incredible, to be honest with you. Do we have any Flash stuff we're going to talk about today? I don't think so. No. We've got some indie stuff. We've got some Mission Impossible stuff. And that's really it. And then the rest is Star Wars related. So let's get into this. G'day, E. Clay Thomason. I see you. And any latecomers, I appreciate all of you being here. All right. Let me see. What's going on here? So this came out this week, where Lucasfilm has delayed the next Star Wars movie, which is expected to be the Daisy Ridley starring New Jedi Order film, to May 22nd, 2026. Dude, like, with how many things that we've had announced by Lucasfilm, how many movies we've had announced by Lucasfilm, I think we're up to like 15 or 16 now that actually have been announced and then never happened. To then say that this movie has been delayed, I mean, I think it was slated for December 2025, or was it May 2025? Whenever it was, it's pretty crazy to think that they haven't even really started a script for this, or at least that's what... No, this was the one where they were actually working on the script. The other movies that they announced at Star Wars Celebration, they weren't. I think I've got that right. Anyway, it's pretty amazing to think that they've barely got a script together for this movie, and it's already being pushed back. It's already being delayed. I mean, we're talking the end of 2025, right? We've still got half a year of 2023, a full year of 2024, and a full year of 2025 before this movie was actually supposed to be coming out. 2.5 years, and we're still 2.5 years away from that original release date, and there's already a delay? What does that tell you? That tells me that they've still got no fucking idea. Like, honestly, they don't know what the hell they're doing with this. And I don't know how anyone could possibly see it any differently to the fact that they've got no clue. They've got no story. It shouldn't take... So basically now this is being pushed to what? May 20... So it's another quarter of a year, basically, on top of the original release date, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things. What? It's an additional 3 months. But, wow. They still make Star Wars? No, they've never made Star Wars, John. They've never made Star Wars. Cody, how you doing? It's almost like the writing strike is happening. But even still, okay, so let's say the writer's strike ends, in 6 months. It's still 2 years. It's still 2 years from the original release, from now to the original release date. I don't know. And how much involvement is that I can't remember her name now, the person that's supposed to be directing this movie, you know, how involved is she? How involved is she? So we've got this from Culture Cave. 3 Star Wars movies now have release dates. Well, they had release dates before, but they've been moved. So I don't think these other ones have been delayed, like the December 18, 2026 and the December 17, 2027. I think that was the original. I thought that one of them was slated to be 2029, but I was obviously wrong about that. But this one. And the funny thing is that when you actually go searching, they're all untitled. They're all unnamed. So we actually don't know which one this is. It's obviously speculated to be the Rey one because that was the one that actually started working on a script. Whereas the James Mangold one and the Filoni one, I don't even think that they'd started writing or anything or getting any concepts together. I think the James Mangold one, the last report that we had was that he had a beginning and he had an end, but he didn't have a middle and he didn't know what to do with the middle, which tells you a lot about that as well. You know where you want to get to, you know where it starts from, but you can't figure out how to get there through the middle of it, basically. So we've got 2 movies now coming out in 2026, apparently. May 22nd, 2026 and December 18, 2026. And then a year later, you've got another one, December 17, 2027. Fuck, that's a long way. Considering we haven't had a Star Wars movie for ages and it's still taking them this long. Like, were they not sitting down going, okay, well, we need to come out with a movie because the Disney Plus shows really aren't doing it for us anymore? And then they go, all right, so we'll do these 3 movies. This is when we'll set them up for. We'll give ourselves plenty of time. And then they already come out with delays. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. And this is the other thing too. So Daisy Ridley led Star Wars movie to begin filming in April 2024. I mean, from April 2024 to like, I just don't understand the delay. I just don't understand where the delays come from. It was originally December 2025. They start filming in in April of 2024. You got over a year and a half. And if they're filming in April, then that means they've got the script, right? Unless they're going to be writing it as they go, which, I mean, I don't see this movie doing well at all, but even still, that means that they've got to have their script done, surely. I mean, honestly, who's going to go and see this? Who's going to watch this? I mean, I'm certainly not paying for it. I'm certainly not going to the movies to see this. I will have to sail the high seas or something just to see it. Imagine they release this movie and it tanks so much at the box office that they decide to give it like an early release on like Disney Plus. Watch it for free. Well, this is the thing. I will want to see what this movie is, as much as I don't want to see this movie ever. But I'd have to eventually see it. Well, that's exactly right. That's why I wouldn't even sail the high seas to see it. Just watch your review. Your review it. Yep, I will have to do that. 100%. But that leads me straight into this. So Idris Elba is reportedly in talks to play the villain in Daisy Ridley's upcoming Star Wars film. So obviously this is just a rumor out there. I'm only just going to touch on this really quickly because who knows how much validity there is to this. Now, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest that they bring in Idris Elba for this role. I mean, let me just say, if Idris Elba ever watches this, which he won't, but if he ever sees this, dude, don't do it. Don't do it. You'll destroy your career playing in a Disney-made Star Wars movie. Because not only are you going to get bad writing, you're going to get a hive mind of writing, right? All these people, all these activists in the writing room coming together to come up with your script. And just like Mark Hamill, who felt really bad about what he was doing when he was doing The Last Jedi, you might sit there and say, oh, no, I kind of disagree with it, and they'll just make you do it anyway. Don't do it, whatever you do. But it's Hollywood at the end of the day, isn't it? He'll need a job. Star Wars will pay him a lot of money. And that's where he'll come into play. I mean, I feel like he could play a good villain, I guess, in a Star Wars movie, but done right. And what are we doing? Are we just going to redo the Sith again? We're just going to bring the Sith back in? Again, eliminating 15 years after... I guess it's not 15 years after Return of the Jedi, is it? Because it's going to be 15 years after the sequels. So we're talking 45 years after Return of the Jedi, roughly, that, once again, Anakin's sacrifice and him bringing balance back to the Force is eliminated. I mean, they've already destroyed that with Palpatine returning, haven't they? So... I mean, do it. Do it, Lucasfilm. Do it, Disney. We'll see how much it pays off for you to bring in Idris Elba. And it's again like because Daisy Ridley won't be able to sell this movie. Daisy Ridley herself won't be able to get bums in seats. So they're going to bring in like a bigger actor to try and do that. What's the bet that the trailer is going to have a lot of him in it if he ends up being a part of it? How do you guys feel about it? How do you guys feel about Idris Elba coming into the Star Wars galaxy, to the galaxy far, far away? Legacy era, Cade Skywalker. What a man. Meh. I'm waiting for them to go into the Legacy era and ruin the OG characters even more. Well, geez. How much more damage do you reckon they can do? Yeah. Can we just not have a Rey movie? It blows my mind how they think that this is a good idea, how they think that this is going to be able to sell. Every single Star Wars fan, like original Star Wars fan, is going to be out. Maybe not every single one, because there are still people out there that are I don't know. I mean, what's the bet that people like Den of Shills and Star Wars Theory go and watch this movie opening night, despite what they say? You know, both of them are pretty much on the Disney, I don't trust Disney bandwagon. They're on the, like, Disney doesn't know what Star Wars is, doesn't know how to work Star Wars, doesn't know what Star Wars is all about. But then they're fine with it as long as Dave Filoni's involved. Well, I don't think Dave Filoni is going to be involved with this movie. But they'll still go and see it. It's just going to be another disaster for them. And you never know. Maybe George Lucas will buy back Lucasfilm. I will watch it for free, so I will know what I'm hating on. That's the only value in watching it. I 100% agree. 100% agree. That is the only value in watching it, is so that I can pretty much sit here, do a review, explain what they've done wrong, because I can almost guarantee they're going to do shit wrong. And I just think about the expanded universe. Every time we sort of talk about this stuff, I start thinking about the expanded universe and how different it could have been if they had have just adapted the EU. What Star Wars could have ended up being. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let me see. Right after the Civil War. Fucking Civil War. All right. I don't really care. The movies are so far away. And it's like with this delay as well, it kind of makes me wonder whether or not we're even going to see these movies. Once again, we are now up to like 15 or 16 movies that have been announced, projects that have been announced that aren't happening. They've been cancelled. They've been shelved. Wasn't Rogue... No. What was the one that Patty Jenkins was doing? I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be a movie. I mean, how much did they pay to get up to where they got up to with that? Was it Rogue Squadron? Oh, no. It was one of those. But yeah, how much Squadrons? How much work had gone into that before they cancelled it? Like we look at like these things that have been announced and been cancelled, but then you look at the projects that they've started that they've cancelled, including like the Star Wars Hotel and all of those things. The amount of money that they tip into this. Crazy. And then it just falls flat on its face. Sorry, I was just scrolling up in the chat. Let me just check this over here. Sorry, guys. I got a lot of attention on work right now. It's just been fucking having a hectic morning. All right, let's... Okay, I did a video on this during the week because, of course, it released on... When was it? Monday. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I do my stream on Friday, and then they release stuff on Monday, and then by the time we get to talk about it, it's why I got to wait until the Friday again. G'day Assassin trailer and Killy Chow. I saw Fractured Filter in here earlier. Good to see all of you. Thanks for being here. All right, let's get this up. So this week we had an announcement from Star Wars, from Lucasfilm, about a new game in development that they're coming out with. Now, obviously, they've been working on this. I don't know whether or not it's been absolutely in secret. This is the first time I'd heard anything about it. And to have the sort of footage that they've got, they must have been working on this for a little while. But it basically says, meet cunning scoundrel Kay Vess. That's how I'm pronouncing it. In Star Wars Outlaws, the first ever open world Star Wars game. Now, in my video, I made the thing about this first ever bullshit. I mean, I don't think that this game is going to be a true open world game. I think that they believe that Jedi Survivor, the game that they just came out with Cal Kestis, is what they consider to be open world. Now, it's decent in the fact that you can go nearly anywhere that is on that part of the map, right? And you can talk to different people, and there are some side missions in there. But at the end of the day, there is just this main mission, and then you can just clear the areas. And I really feel like that's what they consider to be open world. I mean, in the fact that they're saying first ever open world, there's got to be some difference to Jedi Survivor, because then they couldn't say that this is first ever, because the Jedi Survivor would have been the first ever open world. But let's go back a little bit. There was Star Wars Galaxies, which was an open world video game. You've got The Old Republic, which is open world. So to say that this is the first ever open world Star Wars game, it pisses me off, because this is typical Disney Lucasfilm. Destroying the history of Star Wars, destroying the past, basically. Let the past die. Kill it if we have to. Yeah, they're killing it, all right. Let's watch this trailer.
These are dangerous times. At least that's what I hear. The Empire? They're everywhere. But the world here?
This, to me, basically tells me that it's going to take place between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Belongs to the syndicates. If I want to survive, I have to play their game.
Female Han Solo.
She's in here somewhere.
On second thought, I'm out.
There she is.
I have a question. This thing, he's got his gun here, right? His blaster. He goes to fire and it gets pulled to the ground. Oh, does it bounce off? It bounces off and up. Okay. It's so weird. What does it bounce off? Okay. I was just wondering, like, how does his arm get pulled down and it shoots up?
There she is.
I've been held back my whole life.
Oh, sounds like she's been oppressed her whole life. Why? Because she's Latino?
And now, I just need a chance to finally be free.
Oh.
Wherever that takes me.
I'm here to offer you a way out, okay?
Get off my ship, Jalen.
So is Jalen supposed to be, I thought I saw somebody mention it earlier, Kyle Katarn, Soul Assassin. Is that who we're ripping off from the EU?
Give me a chance. You're gonna have to trust me. It'll be dangerous, risky. But if you pull this off, you'll never look over your shoulder again.
The underworld shows no mercy. But it's a big galaxy out there, and I'm gonna risk it all.
Star Wars Outlaws, coming 2024.
First thing I'm going to say is I do find it funny that we're getting more Star Wars games released than actual movies released. Despite how you feel about them. Like, Jedi Survivor was just a way of trying to get people to get into the High Republic. It was just a big promotional piece, a big promotional game for everybody to get into the High Republic, and it was dog shit. It was like the gameplay, I mentioned this, the gameplay is fun. It's fun to run around using the Force. It's fun to run around, hacking people with lightsabers and stuff like that. But the story elements to Survivor were just garbage. And it was just them trying to, again, heighten up the High Republic. And the High Republic's not getting any traction, not getting anything. And wait till the Acolyte comes out. It's going to be even worse. Because, of course, Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, has the audacity to say that there's a patriarchy and that it's misogynistic and all of this kind of stuff. And that, she knows what Star Wars is and she can do it better. She can apparently do it better than George Lucas. But when it comes to this game, first of all, okay, it must still be in very early development because there's no gameplay in there. It is all just the thing is are these things story elements? Because to me, this whole opening bit with, her gambling, running away, and then the speeding off, like if that's a part of the game, then I don't know how this game becomes open world. Obviously, in an open world game, you still want to have your main mission and all of that sort of thing. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not playing this game. I don't think I'm going to buy another Star Wars game. After Jedi Survivor, like I played Fallen Order, I had some issues with that, and I didn't like the story in that. I didn't like how it ended. And then, like I said, Jedi Survivor was just it was promo. It was promo for the High Republic. They released gameplay on Monday, says Mike Hill for 5. Mike, can you DM that to me on Twitter? And I'll bring it up. If you know where to find it. I saw some gameplay. It looks standard adventure. Average adventure. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. If you've got it, Mike, DM it to me, but... All right, hang on. Let me bring this up. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. I found something. Thanks, Mike, for the $5. Appreciate that. This game looks like Disney trash. Oh, it's really loud in my headphones.
Good boy.
Thanks, Blue-Eyed Scorpio. This is that's the same one. This is the same one.
All right, next. Let's go get paid. That worked.
Geez, one punch knocked him out like that. Strong, powerful whammon.
From stabbing us in the back. Next. Hit that button. Nice one. Hang on tight, little buddy.
Yeah, this it's already feels like Jedi Survivor.
I was just leaving. Okay, we'll figure this out. Shield.
Jesus, she's strong.
Hey, Nick. Catch. This is getting bad. Let's try this out. Dick Ferrick.
Oh, Jedi Survivor.
I think that went pretty well, right? Oh, these guys don't quit. Hang on.
Slow-mo.
That was close.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. How is she not
I
dead?
got the package. Where are you?
Yeah, Jedi Survivor 2.0. I agree.
Were you seen?
I said I got it. What else matters?
Should I assume we won't be working for the Pikes anytime soon?
Well, they'll probably forgive me.
Comforting.
There's Jonta's hope. We made it, Nix.
Let's see what this is like. Just quickly, Blue-Eyed Scorpio for 2. Thanks, dude. Yeah, so to me, it looks just like an average game. To me, this looks like just another version of Jedi Survivor, just with a smuggler, a female Han Solo, with a Latino background. Yep, the bar. You can talk to people in the bar.
Andy.
You're late, Kay. Doc is waiting.
What? Are you worried?
No.
Okay.
No, but you Troy.
What?
Be careful. Donka's a broker, not a friend. She can't be trusted.
Who can out here? See you back at the ship.
Oh, that looked horrible.
Round 2 and I still like my odds. K-Vess. Back already. I told you she's fresh, but she's good.
Who's this?
Just a friend. Join us.
Job was more complicated than you said, Dunka.
You lived. Hey, these aren't toys. They're investments.
That's true too. Dread looks like a proxy from Force Unleashed.
Wait, we haven't met.
She's an
I don't know
Imperial.
many of you.
Stealing illegal contraband, running with syndicates. I could say you're a threat to the Empire. But I won't have to if you're smart.
Thanks, but I'm smart enough to get myself out of trouble.
You pay the tax just like everyone else.
Whoa, kid, let's just relax.
You won't make it off to Shara alive.
Maybe.
All troopers.
Hang on. Sorry, it just jumped on me. It's Ubi, so it gives more Assassin's Creed vibes, not Star Wars. Yeah. It doesn't even really give me Assassin's Creed vibes, to be honest. Let's just see. It's nearly finished.
That Imperial announcement wouldn't be about you, would it?
Could be.
I told you not to trust her.
Not the first time we've outrun the Empire.
Man, this is so much like...
We need to leave.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just a smuggler Jedi survivor.
we good?
Nothing on the sensors yet.
Anybody on the sensors now?
TIE fighters on us.
Got one.
I feel inclined to remind you that we should shake the Empire quickly.
Thanks, I'm working on it.
I do like space battles. I do like to be able to
Indeed,
pilot the
get us
ship.
out of here.
Installing hyperdrive.
Let's jump.
I still don't see what makes it like open world yet.
We made it. Hey. Got your new toy.
So, where do we go next?
Anywhere we want.
Okay, so is that just like the opening scene, the opening part, and now you can just do whatever you want and go wherever you want?
Star Wars Outlaws.
She's pretty crazy strong. Does it have a release date? Only coming in 2024 at this stage. Yeah, I want to see the maps too. See how open world it really is. But again, I just want to point out the fact that they promote this as the first ever. It's like fucking Jennifer Lawrence and her first ever fucking. She's the first ever female action star. You know, it's like it just gives me that sort of vibe when I hear the first ever on a game that in Star Wars when it's clearly not the first ever. It's so far from it. And I'd be curious just to see how, again, open world it really is. Look up Project Ragtag. I wonder if the Outlaws is a reskin of that game. All right, hold on.
The Star Wars universe is growing day by day with the comics, the films, the games, you name it, and to be a part of that.
With Star Wars, we're super happy to have
before, right? So it's a fantastic opportunity.
It's really well to the Star Wars universe.
In the first place, that storytelling you did as a kid with your
1313.
Hey guys, this is Eckhart Slater. Hello and
Oh
welcome
no, we're
to...
not going to watch Eckhart Slater. Is that what the ragtag game was? Was it 1313? Star Wars Explained video. These are all... That's a year ago. That's 7 years ago. Jesus. 9 years ago. I'll have a look later. Can't find it now. Maybe it's just, maybe it is just a reskin of that game. I mean, just looking at the thumbnails that they've got on some of these, it looks like it could very well be. Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. First ever open world Star Wars game. Liar. Fucking lies. Fucking lies. All right. G'day, Jace. Good to see you too. What do we got next? Okay. Dave Filoni opens up. Dave Filoni has opened up about the biggest challenge he faced with the Ahsoka series. There's a whole bunch of audience that knows her, and there's a whole bunch that don't. I think this, that's true, because there are obviously people that have watched the Clone Wars. It's like when my old boss, he used to say how much of a Star Wars fan he was, and he used to try and play off that he was a bigger Star Wars fan than I am. And then I asked him one day, I'm like, all right, so who is Anakin's apprentice? And straight off the bat, he's like, Anakin doesn't have an apprentice, blah, 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 blah. And I told him about Ahsoka in the animated stuff, and he basically just started saying that the animated stuff isn't for adults and it's not a part of the main story. Well, I also happened to mention to him that that Maul survived, and he was like, oh, bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And then when Solo came out and you get that cameo of Maul at the end, I was like, see, I told you, he's still alive. And he couldn't believe it and all of that kind of shit. So yes, there is a whole bunch of people that know who Ahsoka is, and there's a whole bunch of people that don't. You know what that tells me that this is going to be? Especially this first season, if they even do more seasons, but especially this first season, there's going to be probably a lot of flashbacks and a lot of what we've already seen before watching the Clone Wars all sort of explained, so that the people, the normies that haven't watched the Clone Wars and don't necessarily know who Ahsoka is, can get some of the actual backstory. And the one part that I think that we're going to see the most of is Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order. Because a lot of the people that don't know who she is are going to be asking that question. So if she was Anakin's apprentice and she was like, what happened during Order 66? How come she's not there? So I feel like it's a fair enough statement to say from Dave Filoni, to say that there's a whole bunch of audience that do know who she is and there's a whole bunch that don't. But it definitely makes me think that the show, I mean, how many episodes is Ahsoka supposed to be? Do we know that yet? Let me just check something here. Number of episodes. 8. Another 8-episode series. How do you reckon they're going to do that? They're going to do it like the Boba Fett show, right? Where, like, you get the flashbacks of Boba Fett being with the Tuskens, and then it all, like, you know, you've got the present day storyline, and then you've got the past storyline and how they feed together. I just see this going to be a disaster. It's going to be an absolute disaster. And all the Inquisitors, like, obviously there's another Inquisitor in this. I saw somebody mentioning that on Twitter the other day. Like, I think a lot of people thought, like, all the Inquisitors died or, like, fled after Palpatine gets killed. But the thing is that this is what we don't know, is that Palpatine's not actually dead at the end of Return of the Jedi. You know? Imagine you see this guy back here, and we were talking about this last week, and I actually had a thought. Like, people were like wondering who this character is, right? And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Starkiller, make it Starkiller." Imagine if that's Mara Jade. I want him to do that so very badly. Make that Inquisitor Mara Jade. We haven't heard his or her voice, so it could very well be like one of the 85 sisters. But imagine they make that character Mara Jade. So yeah, Dave Filoni has a bit of a challenge on his hands to let the new audiences know who Ahsoka is, while also giving the people that know who Ahsoka is enough to keep them engaged. And I feel like, again, it's going to be a lot like Book of Boba Fett, in the fact that we're going to get flashback. Half the episode's going to be a flashback, and the other half of the episode's going to be like present day storytelling. I also wonder, do we have a length? Hang on a second, let me just check this. Ahsoka series. So about 44 minutes an episode. So they're basically hour-long episodes if, like, you were to put ads in there. 8 episodes at an hour long. 8 hours. Let's say 7 hours, 44 minutes long. In 7 hours, can you tell a decent story of the Heir to the Empire story while trying to tell audiences who Ahsoka is, while also giving enough to the people that already know who Ahsoka is to keep them engaged? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I will be watching this. I will be reviewing this. Of course, it's going to be one of the hottest Star Wars things, I reckon, to come out, because it is Ahsoka. I don't expect it to be good. I don't expect it to be Star Wars. And I certainly expect them to do damage to the expanded universe, the Heir to the Empire, and original characters like that. I also wonder, like, if Luke is going to be a part of this. I wonder if we're actually going to get the first conversation between Ahsoka and Luke in this. I mean, based on what we heard from Mark Hamill, I don't think there's going to be anything like that. But they've completely missed an opportunity there. And I said this during the Book of Boba Fett series when Ahsoka was on the planet with Luke, and that obviously already spoken, that already had their initial conversation and initial meeting and greeting and all of that, and they're well and truly like friends at the stage that we see them. And I just think that, based on the fact that you've got the son of the chosen one and you've got the apprentice of the chosen one, there's a massive opportunity there to have a good scene, a good moment. And they keep squandering those opportunities. So again, we'll wait and see. You'll be able to catch my reviews once this actually comes out. And it's coming out, next month now? We're not that far away from it. Yeah. G'day, Nikki. How you doing? Even if they show it, it's too late. I would have wanted to at least see that first. I agree. That conversation would have probably been quite good, because you could have had Ahsoka telling Luke about how great Anakin was as a Jedi, how compassionate he was, because obviously Luke only knew him as Vader, saved him at the end, and was able to see his father for the first time. But, he's only got the stories to go off what Obi-Wan told him, which isn't a lot, about how good he was. You could actually have Ahsoka telling Luke how good he was. And then you can also have Luke tell Ahsoka how he redeemed himself and how he did destroy the Sith, even though in Disney Star Wars he didn't destroy the Sith. So, but, this is Disney Star Wars. They don't care, and they hate Luke Skywalker. So why would they? I don't want to know what all out for Ahsoka implies. Sorry, I don't really get. I'm missing something there, Laura. Anyway, that is what Dave Filoni has to say about the Ahsoka series. That he's got a big challenge on his hands with that. And he kind of does, yes, because like I said, there are people that haven't seen Ahsoka and don't know who Ahsoka is. I kind of wanted to just say that those are the people that just sit there and clap, but they're not, because there's a lot of people that I don't know. Star Wars is so bad. So very bad. It's painful. Anyway, moving right along, let's get into this one, because I saw this, and I saw this thanks to Ryan Kennel. I watched his video on it. Andor Season 1 has a reported budget of $250 million, making it Star Wars' most expensive Disney Plus series yet. Comparison numbers and details. Let me just go into this. I didn't actually click on this earlier. Probably should have. So first of all, I can't believe that the Andor series cost $250 million. There's no way that they've actually been able to make that money back through the Andor series, especially with how much people fell off the bandwagon. After Obi-Wan Kenobi and after the Book of Boba Fett, a lot of people, a lot of viewers, a lot of the audience just said, nah, all right, I'm out. And there were a lot of people that were saying that Andor is better than Obi-Wan, than Book of Boba Fett, than The Mandalorian. It's got better stories, it's got better characters. Now, I personally disagree, and I think you guys know that I disagree with how good Andor is. Because to me, it was boring. It was slow. I don't need to have lightsabers and force users in everything I watch when it comes to Star Wars, despite the fact that that is basically what Star Wars is. But there were a lot of story threads that weren't completed. There was a lot of things that just didn't make sense. There was a lot of elements, a lot of character motivations and things that just didn't actually add up and make sense in the end. And again, you can go back and you can rewatch some of my reviews to the episodes and things like that. I'm not going to get into all of them. You've got things like the 80 million credits. You've got things like the escape of the prison. You've got things like Val and Luthen and how they interact that doesn't make any sense. You've got Mon Mothma that they completely fucked over. And no Bail Organa, which I completely fucking hate. But the fact that this cost $250 million, this is more expensive than Rogue One, right? They say that, they say that the budget for The Mandalorian is around $100 million, $12 to $15 million per episode. Let's see what else we've got in here that it talks about. The budget for Obi-Wan Kenobi, $25 million an episode. I mean, fuck. Let me just do something really quickly. How many episodes of Andor was there? There was 12, right? Well, it's only $20 million an episode compared to the $25 million an episode it was for Kenobi. But Kenobi was a shorter series. It had less episodes. Skeleton Crew has a budget reported of $136 million. $250 million budget for Andor. I mean, I know that they were out on site. I know that they were out on, actual sets. But that's a massive budget for a show that I don't know how on Disney Plus they're making that $250 million back, especially out of a show that was completely like the audience completely fell off a cliff. That blows my mind. It blows my mind that they're spending this kind of money on a show like this. I mean, that's got to be a failure. That's got to be a flop, right? It's got to be the same as Solo lost money. Andor Season 1 lost money. Especially with the numbers. Didn't they lose 4 million subscribers or something like that over on Disney Plus as well? And I wonder how much Season 2 is going to cost with all the inflation and stuff that's happened in that time. What, are we looking at a $300 million budget for Andor Season 2? I mean, even if, let's say, they match this budget, you're talking $500 million for 2 seasons that go for 24 episodes total. I mean, back in the day, 24 episodes was 1 season. You look at something like Stargate SG-1. You've got roughly 25 episodes a season, running for 10 seasons, and I can guarantee you, not one of those seasons is probably the highest budget that they probably would have had on one of those seasons was probably around $100 million. And I know that was back in, the 90s. And stuff like that, but fucking hell, still, at least that had fucking good storytelling. This is a disaster. This is an absolute disaster, and I can't believe they actually spent that kind of money on a show like this. Where does the money go? Obviously, they're going to pay all the actors. Yeah, fair enough. But I don't think there were some overly massive sets or anything like that. Probably the biggest set was the prison that they were working in. And apparently they didn't use any of the volume because you can't use practical sets and the volume, otherwise it looks too jarring. Why? Because the volume is that shit? Because to me, everything that is filmed in the volume has been absolute crap. You can see it. You can see how bad it is. Anyway, I couldn't believe that the season 1 of Andor cost as much as it cost. It's wow. 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 Oh, Wicked Bar. How you doing? Hello? Let's see. I don't understand Crazy Mad. I know you liked it. It's fine. I just didn't think it was good. And to spend $250 million on it, I don't think is a good idea. Despite how people feel about it, the audience fell off a cliff. The audience lost momentum. And it was because of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Boba Fett that happened. But that's what makes me think that they haven't been able to make money back on it. It's probably the one show which has actually cost them. I mean, even if we add up, so you got $250 million on that. You've got, what did it say? 100. Let me just hold on one second. So you got $250 million. You got $100 million on Mando. You're $350 million. So season 2, even though it's unconfirmed, season 2 of Mando and Boba Fett were both $100 million each. So we're now sitting at $550 million. Obi-Wan Kenobi was $150 million. So we're now sitting at $700 million. Skeleton Crew, which we haven't seen yet, is $136 million. Let's just say $150 million. So we're now sitting at $850 million. And that doesn't include season 3. Let's say season 3 of Mando was $100 million. Hang on. Did I already add that in? Yeah, I did. So season 3, another $100 million. So we're now sitting at $900 million for all the TV shows that they've done. That doesn't include any advertising or anything like that they did for these. It's just production budget. $900 million. Basically, let's just call it $1 billion. They've spent $1 billion on TV shows. Are they making that money back out of these shows? I mean, there's no rewatchability to any of them, really, when you actually think about it. Maybe the most rewatched thing was the Luke Skywalker scene at the end of fucking Mando season 2. But I don't think they've made back $1 billion out of their Disney Plus shows. I know. They don't show the numbers, so we literally don't know. I get it. But with the decline of audiences for Star Wars, is that right? Stargate SG-1 had a production budget of roughly $1.3 to $2 million by the end per episode. Wow, that's cheap. I mean, I think season one, after season one, they probably got a little bit of a bigger budget because season one is a little bit rough around the edges, but I still think that considering that that's all it cost, they did a fantastic job with that. Going through my second rewatch from beginning to end of Stargate SG-1. So good. Fucking love it. So look, we don't know and we'll never know how much they're actually making out of the Disney Plus shows. But considering that they lost as many subs that they did to Disney Plus, what we saw with the ratings that we could get for Andor, with what we heard about Mando Season 3 and the criticisms towards Mando Season 3, considering it was its flagship show, and Season 1 and 2 were effectively, taken on board by a lot of people. I don't know if they're making their money back, to be honest. I don't think they are. It's another Solo situation. That's true too. Could be the reason why they're releasing a game so quickly to make up money. It very well could be. Very well could be, because there's idiots like me that end up buying Jedi Survivor just because I want to play a Star Wars game. Oh, I see what you're saying. No. Watch the show From. The show is called From. It's a great show. Best show I've ever seen in years. Sorry, Crazy Mad. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that. It's like, okay. Just watch From instead. I was kind of like, okay. I get what you're saying now. Thanks. It's kind of funny. All right, let me just check a couple of things really quickly. We're all good there. Any member chats or anything that came through? Again, I hate how it doesn't show member chats on StreamYard. It's annoying. We got that super chat. No, we're good. We are good. Disaster Trooper says, I also enjoyed From. Where can you see that? What streaming service is it on? I might check it out. Prime or MGM Plus. All right, I've got Prime. I'll check it out. Is it long? How many seasons do they have? Or is it an actual movie? All right, let me just go into this really quickly. We'll get this one out the way because this is just a quick, easy one. Boba Fett rumored to appear in The Mandalorian Season 4. No Book of Boba Fett Season 2 in development. Well, first of all, why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised that there's no Season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett? I mean, after season 1 of Book of Boba Fett, we definitely don't want a season 2. We definitely don't need a season 2. Nobody wants to see the mods again. Nobody gives a fuck about Chrysanthemum, whatever the hell his name is. I think a lot of people were surprised that we didn't see Boba Fett in Mando season 3. But Mando season 3 wasn't Mando's show anymore. It's turning into the Bo-Katan show. And Bo-Katan is going to end up going to Boba and needing his help for something, taking down the other clone of Moff Gideon. So this doesn't surprise me in the slightest. It's kind of like, you know, them talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. And I was actually thinking about that. I've got to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show, right? There was a lot of talk that, you know, we don't have any plans. There's no development, nothing happening for Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2. However, it got me thinking about how Obi-Wan Kenobi season 1 ended. So I'm just going to take this down because I'm pretty much done with this. Who cares? Boba Fett's going to show up in Mando season 4, and there's no there's no Boba Fett season 3. It's season 2. Good. Nobody cares. I agree with this. Fucking good. That's all there is to it. All right. I want to just quickly talk about, like I said, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Think about how the Obi-Wan Kenobi show ended. Vader still knows that Obi-Wan is alive. Reva decided not to kill Luke Skywalker because she saw herself in Luke Skywalker and she was about to become the Vader to Luke Skywalker and decided to save his life instead of kill him. She had some conversation with Obi-Wan where she was crying and all upset about the whole thing and how she became vengeful. Despite the way that she went about it was completely skewed and twisted. And then what happens to her after that moment? She now can't go back to the Empire. And she's not with Obi-Wan at the end of the series. So, like, the reason why I'm asking this is because I've seen a couple of people on Twitter saying it would be awesome to get an Obi-Wan season 2 and have Obi-Wan teaching Reva the ways of the Force. You know, being a master and her being his apprentice. Now, first of all, that, again, would be really bad for... not that they haven't done enough damage already. They have. But that would be really bad for Obi-Wan. He's just got to be concentrating on Luke Skywalker. And again, the fact that they even did this season 1 of Obi-Wan Kenobi is an absolute abomination for the story and for the character of Obi-Wan. But I did see a few people out there saying that they want Reva to be taught by Obi-Wan. But where was she when Qui-Gon shows up, which is another abomination of law? When Qui-Gon shows up and says to Obi-Wan, you know, oh, you just weren't ready to see. That's why I hadn't appeared for 10 years. Where was Reva? Where did she go? Did she decide to live with the Lars, did she? After she threatened to kill them all. Where did she go? Can anyone actually answer that? Because again, she can't go back to the Empire. I mean, Vader thinks that she's dead, finally, doesn't he? I mean, he stabbed her. Again. And the Grand Inquisitor shows up. And that was the plan all along, because they knew that she'd stabbed the Grand Inquisitor, which didn't do any damage. No, we're not getting a Kenobi season 2. I'm just saying there's a lot of people out there that want a Kenobi season 2, and a lot of those people want Kenobi to be training Reva. Now, I wouldn't say there's a lot of people. I've just seen a few comments on Twitter. The SEALs. The ones that just love to clap. So, no, there's no confirmation that there's going to be a season 2. But my question is if there was going to be a season 2, what happened to Reva? We actually didn't get, you could say, closure on her part of the story. She's just there crying with Obi-Wan at the end on Tatooine after she saves Luke or doesn't kill Luke. They have their little conversation and go their separate ways. Oh, aren't you lucky? Oh, sorry. I thought you said I didn't watch. Sorry. I didn't want a Kenobi season 1. Yeah. Nobody wanted a Kenobi season 1. Not with the way that they were promoting it, with the rematch of the century and all of that crap. Let me see here. No, we're all good. Reva turns into a Tusken. Maybe. Could you imagine if they did that? I'm just trying to think. They do that, and then, yeah, maybe she's the female Tusken in the Book of Boba Fett. Imagine they did that. Reva. Tusken Reva. Well, these streams seem to be getting shorter. That's all I've really got. I've got an Indiana Jones thing. We've got a Tom Cruise thing. We've got a little funny thing to watch, and we've got Seal of the Week left. I've pretty much gone through everything. Let me just check over here. Arboru for 10 over on Streamlabs. Thank you, dude. And he just says, thanks for the stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you guys. I see a lot of the same faces back week in, week out, just to hear me talk shit about Star Wars and some other things as well. But I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate it. You know, I don't think that I'm the all-knowing Raging Rhino or anything like that. I've got my opinions. I've got my thoughts on it. I'm glad that there are some people out there that at least agree with me. There's a lot out there that don't agree with me. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you for not swearing as much this stream. Well, fuck, all right, thanks. I appreciate that, guys. Where's my...
Thank you very much.
You talk about Star Wars when? All the fucking time. Everything that had to be said about Star Wars has already said, and the clappers can't come up with new arguments to own us. Sorry, yeah, except insult us. So yeah, 100% right. You should see some of the comments on some of my videos and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of you guys in there, and again, I appreciate appreciate the support in continually watching my videos and continually watching my streams and all of that sort of thing. But you're absolutely right, Trooper. They've got no argument. Their argument now is, oh, you're just a racist, or you're a Nazi, or you're a bigot, or whatever. That is the biggest argument that they can come up with. Whereas my argument towards a lot of these things is based on, like, this doesn't make sense because of this, right? Or, you know, a tracking fob. Nobody can explain to me how a tracking fob works. So to me, that's just a disaster. Like, nobody can explain these things to me. You know, this is why I would love to be able to get with the EFAP guys just to talk to them about the Andor show. Just because I would love to be able to ask them, like, okay, you think that the character development's good. You think that there's good motivations for the characters and things like that. But ignore the characters for just 1 second. And let me ask you, how does this work? Why didn't this person do this? You know, biggest one in regards to that is, why didn't Mon Mothma go to Bail Organa for her 400,000 credits? Why did we have to go through this whole thing with her daughter and selling off her daughter to a crime lord that she doesn't want to sell her daughter off to, when she's got people in her arsenal like Bail Organa? Or the fact that the whole reason why she withdrew the 400,000 credits was to basically give to Luthen, but then when Luthen comes across a whole bunch of credits, he can't go return the favor and give the credits back, even though he's got 80 million of them. He can't give 400,000 to Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma didn't even bring that up with him. Like, there's so many elements that just don't make sense. And like I said, I would love to be able to sit down with I know that Anna, that Star Wars girl, she was on Critical Drinker's stream, and I don't know his name. He's never on screen. But apparently he flipped it at her. I wanted to actually go back and watch it just to see what happened on that stream. But apparently he flipped it at her and basically said, oh, so you can't enjoy Star Wars without lightsabers and Force users and stuff like that. Tried to use that argument against Anna saying Andor was shit, right? I'd just take it one question at a time. I'd be like, okay, so it gets explained in the show that Andor's the only one that can pilot the ship from the heist. It's actually said in the show. So before they recruited Andor to do this, what were they going to do? What was their plan? Seeing as they didn't have a pilot anyway. So they finally get a pilot. Okay, cool. They got a pilot to be able to pilot the ship. But then once Andor leaves, how did Val get the 80 million credits in the ship to Luthen? And how did she get that stuff to Luthen without talking to Luthen or bumping into Luthen? Because the Kyber crystal that Luthen gave Andor as payment until they do the job, he gives that to Val to give to Luthen, but Val, gives it to the assistant to give to Luthen, even though Val is the one that gave the credits to Luthen. Like, I know that sounded a little complicated, and you might have to rewatch exactly what I just said a couple of times for it to make sense in regards to what I said to make sense. But in the show, none of that makes any sense. I mean, it starts off with him trying to find his sister. Now, the fact that we're going into a brothel is absolute crap. But anyway, he's looking for his sister. Now, I'd make the argument, what happened to him wanting to find his sister? All of a sudden, Luthen shows up, takes him and recruits him, and Andor's just like, yep, no worries. I'll just stop what I'm doing looking for my sister so that I can try and do this heist for you and risk my life for you. And then people make the argument, oh, but his mum said to him to stop looking for his sister. Well, then my immediate argument back to that is, no, she didn't. She told him that after he completed the heist, before he got arrested and went into the prison. So even if he was going to take his mum's word for it and not look for his sister anymore, that was after the entire heist stuff. That was 5 episodes in that she told him to stop. And even after she tells him to stop, he just takes that on board and, yep, no worries. I wonder if that is going to even tie into the season 2 that they're coming out with. And then I've got problems with the jailbreak. This is such a fucking joke. The Empire, first of all, not using droids to do this job is beyond me. Having to feed people and bed people and stuff like that, as opposed to just having droids machined, programmed to actually build this stuff. And they think that it would work out cheaper. This is the SEAL's justification that it would be cheaper to have sentient beings than have droids build this stuff. The way that they escape the prison, jumping from 10 stories, hitting the water and surviving, and everybody swimming away, but they're the only 2 that make it back to shore. So Andor and his buddy, they swam in this direction. Everybody else swam in this direction. Who knows if they made it or if they drowned, got too tired, couldn't make it to land. Nobody actually found the same patch of land that Andor and his buddy found. It was just those 2 out of the 5,000 people that escaped. You want to say it's a nitpick, you can say it's a nitpick. I don't think it is. I think it's a legitimate criticism and a legitimate argument of why that was fucking stupid. And that everybody being so sad that fucking, what's his name? Smeagol. What's his fucking name? Can't even. Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis, you know, he can't swim, so he's not going to even try. He's just going to, all 5,000 prisoners are going to jump off and leave and try and save themselves. He's going to be the only one left there with the remaining guards. I mean, he's dead. He may as well have risked it and jumped off, and maybe Andor could have helped him swim back to shore. It's funny that I didn't like most of the characters in Andor, but enjoyed the overall the show overall. Sorry, Gilroy was better at portraying the Empire. Maybe. I do want to say with that IBC chick, it definitely gave me vibes of the Force is Female stuff that they're trying to seep into all of Star Wars. I mean, let's see with the Ahsoka show how much Force is Female stuff's going to be in there. I would say a fair bit. It's definitely cheaper to use slave labor than to buy droids. Okay. I disagree. like, okay, yes, buying droids could be expensive, but the running of those droids, I mean, you got to feed people, you got to sleep people, you got to bed people, you've got to have toilets and all this other stuff. And then the amount of security that they had at this prison, let's say, I'd rather just call it a factory. But the amount of guards that they had was the equivalent of the number of guards that they should have had if there were droids. Because droids are programmable and they're not going to go against their programming just because they want to. Like, despite how Disney Lucasfilm want to portray their droids as like sentient beings, that once they get their restraining bolt taken off, they just get on the table and start, protesting. I don't know, Crazy Mad. I don't know. I mean, technically, if they've got droids, they don't even need to have guards. They just need a couple of engineers to make sure that the maintenance on the droids is fine and that they're doing the work properly. And if they need reprogramming, they need reprogramming. They certainly didn't need to build a prison base in the middle of water or anything like that. So the other thing too is like the when they find out that the guy finished his time and they just moved him to another cell sort of thing, and because they started to go, what the fuck, so no one's ever getting out of here, they just decided to kill all of them. Is that the first time that's ever happened? Like, it must be the first ever prisoner to finish completing his time there. Because if it happened before, it would have been found out and a rebellion would have struck up a lot earlier than that. Rhino is learning to love AI after all. I don't know about that. All right. Let's move on from some Star Wars. Still Lucasfilm related. We'll watch this. Then we'll get Seal of the Week going. And then we'll watch a couple more. Okay. So we have got a featurette that they released for Indiana Jones 5. Let's just watch it.
The first time I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark with an audience, the movie played better than I ever imagined it could.
Stand by the roll, please.
It was entertaining, fun, and incredibly inspiring.
It was a very exciting story to tell. I was really happy.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
I remember exactly the cinema name and the afternoon that I went to see the first Indiana Jones.
I just remember it always being on, just awe and excitement and danger.
This is the franchise that I grew up watching.
Indiana Jones movies would not exist in people's hearts and imaginations without Harrison Ford.
Nobody can play Indiana Jones but him.
What do you think you're doing? Get down!
Dad, we're well out of range.
We talk about what is quintessentially Indy. It's a combination of feeling like it's grounded in something historical, but then the adventures sit right on the edge of the supernatural.
And I'm delighted that there still is an interest in the character and the kinds of stories that we tell. I'm thrilled.
All right, here we go. Action!
It feels great to be back as Indiana Jones.
To have a chance as a director to collaborate with him is beyond thrilling.
He's about to stumble into his last great adventure. I've been looking for this all my life.
It takes you right back to what it is that makes the indie series so unique and so much fun.
To me, that was just a big nostalgia bait fucking thing. They basically talked about all the old Star Wars, Indiana Jones stuff. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't think they talked about Temple of Doom. And the fact that Steven Spielberg has nothing to do with this movie. Is he an executive producer of this movie? I thought he completely walked away. Kathleen Kennedy's voice just shits me these days. She can shut up, that's for sure. She looks like she's got like Bell's palsy or something. Only half her face works. This is going to be a disaster. I mean, yeah, okay. Like we mentioned at the beginning of the stream, the ratings have sort of started to creep up a little bit, I think. But man, I mean, the Crystal Skull was bad. The one before this one was really bad. I really didn't like that one. But from what I'm hearing with this one, it's just, this is going to be even worse. Harrison just collecting a paycheck. This movie isn't real indie. Yes, that's true. Only 3 indie films. I agree with that. I got them here somewhere. Where are they? Oh. Anyway, I've got them around. But yeah, that was just nostalgia bait. Try and get people excited for Indiana Jones, trying to feed off what all the old Indiana Jones stuff. What did Kathleen Kennedy say here?
We talk about what is quintessentially indie. It's a combination of feeling like it's grounded in something historical.
Yeah, grounded in reality, which I will say fucking Crystal Skull definitely destroyed that.
But then the adventures sit right on the edge of the supernatural.
Yeah, I don't know. Right on the edge of the supernatural. I think that was more the Crystal Skull that did that than the other ones. There's elements of supernatural shit going on, but I don't know. Kathleen Kennedy shouldn't be a real person. I wish I was a real boy. Anyway, that was interesting, I guess. God. Lucasfilm in an absolute disaster situation. All right, let me go and grab another drink and we'll do Seal of the Week. What can I play while I just run over to the fridge? This one never goes astray. This one's good.
I said Lyndon would go to the tree and do some ASMR for you, Lethal. In your honor.
I'm so sorry. He'd be hugging that tree. And then he'd be punching it and slapping it, going, "You took my friend." Kicking it. How dare you?
That would be you, Rhino.
Nah. I'd be there going, why? Fuck you, Disney! Why? God, that's from a while ago now. Still one of my favorite clips. I should clip out that bit from, was it last week's stream or the week before? Let me see. Hold on one second. This. I should clip this out so I can play it whenever I want. Look, same jumper. It's because there's so many fucktards out there that were apparently on my side of the fandom, right, that sit there and go, no, the Civil War is real. That's why this is great. This is the best Star Wars we've ever had. Oh. Look, oh, there's a TIE fighter. Oh, my God, it's Bo-Katan. I get so angry. Oh, funny shit. G'day, Christopher. How you doing? All right. Actually, before we get into Seal, let me... I saw this. I thought it was funny, so I just wanted to watch it with you guys. So why is a B-Wing a B-Wing? Alternate dialogue. This is from, I think it's from some game. I don't know exactly. But anyway, let's watch this.
Okay, I have a question. I get X-Wings, A-Wings, Y-Wings, even E-Wings in a pinch. You know, they have a theme and it's nerdy as hell, but they're sticking to it. Good on them. Why the hell is a B-Wing a B-Wing? You've seen one, right? It's literally a giant T. It couldn't be any more T-shaped. But some intellectual giant in Rebel Engineering decides to call it a B-Wing. Why? That's why I prefer the Imperial system. TIE Fighter, TIE Bomber, TIE Interceptor. You know what you're getting. You know what it does right away. It's Imperial efficiency. Okay.
It's so true, though. Because a B-Wing is literally a T. Oh, shit. I fucking broke it. Ah. Oh no, where did that come off of? Ah, came off of there? No. Oh, came off there. I see it. I see it. Hold on a second, guys. Let me just fix this, seeing as I broke it. There we go. It's literally a T. It couldn't be any more T-shaped. So I saw that. I thought it was funny.
I have a question. I get X-Wings, A-Wings, Y-Wings, even E-Wings in a pinch. You know, they have a theme and it's nerdy as hell, but they're sticking to it. Good on them. Why the hell is a B-Wing a B-Wing? You've seen one, right? It's literally a giant T. It couldn't be any more T-shaped. But some intellectual giant in Rebel Engineering decides to call it a B-Wing. Why? That's why I prefer the Imperial system. TIE Fighter, TIE Bomber, TIE Interceptor. You know what you're getting. You know what it does right away. It's Imperial efficiency. Okay.
Very clever. Very clever. All right. Here we go. I might be wearing the same clothes, but I think I'm wearing a different t-shirt. It might be the same one, actually. But yes, I have taken a bath, or taken a shower. I don't bath. Anyway, let's move on. All right, this week we've got a couple of great nominees for Seal of the Week. We've actually got some really good ones. So, number one, we have Star Wars Holocron with Daisy Ridley and Dave Filoni at Star Wars Celebration. 2 Star Wars legends. I don't know about that. Can you consider Daisy Ridley to be a legend of Star Wars? And Dave Filoni, I hate this Dave Filoni bone of crap. He is such a fucking hack. He's the destroyer of worlds. He is one of the others that's a destroyer of franchises. And he is one of the ones out there destroying more and more Star Wars the more and more we get. And I think that that's going to be quite evident once we do get the Ahsoka series. Yes, she is all the Jedi. Neither are legends. No, I agree. Are a legend. I 100% agree. So that's nominee number 1, Star Wars Holocron. Then we have Brian Young. I hate the way he spells Brian because Brian should be with an I, not a Y. And I hate the fact that my name is in that name. So you've got Star Wars Gifts puts out just this tweet, The Last Jedi. But then he retweets it and says, this movie is perfect. 10 out of 10. No notes. 10 out of 10. And the movie is perfect. God, you couldn't be any more wrong. It's so far from perfect. It's an absolute abomination of movies, cinema, and storytelling. And it's absolute crap. Absolute crap. I do find it funny, though, that right there, where he's blocking the lightsaber with his arms, but apparently the lightsaber can just stab right through the chest or the face mask, but the one part that's made of Beskar is the arm guards. So that's nominee number 2, Brian Young. Nominee number 3, this is the one that Mike Hill sent me. And guys, if you remember, drop some seal clapping emojis in the chat. We've got JJ here. Obi-Wan Kenobi was not... Obi-Wan Kenobi was not only good because it took us to familiar places, but it had time to introduce a brand new character, Reva, who had an actual arc. Really? Who had an actual arc and completed story with room for expansion. What? Whenever people talk shit whenever people talk shit on Kenobi series, side eye. Wow. Reva has one of the worst story arcs in Star Wars history. Her motivations for wanting to kill Vader and the way that she goes about that is absolute crap. Her acting, the actor, can't act for shit because yelling and screaming is acting now because that's all she does. Oh, but she's supposed to be dark side. She's supposed to be in pain and all of this kind of stuff. Fuck off. She is one of the worst characters in all of Star Wars. And it's got nothing to do with the fact that she's got a pussy, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that she's black. It has everything to do with the fact that the writing was crap. So I blame the writers more than anyone else. She was a character that was unnecessary and completely didn't need to be there. And once again, her motivations, the fact that she survives 2 lightsaber stabbings is just... it blows my mind. But there you go. Nominee number 3, JJ. absolutely loving the character of Reva with an actual story arc and completed story. Wow. Wow. And last, we've got Daniela. 10 weeks to Ahsoka. These people and their fucking countdowns. Oh, mind you, I also want to point out that Brian Young is a he, they, because this is important. And Danielle here, Danielle, yeah, is a she, her, 28, Latina. Did she say Latinx? No, Latina. The voice actor for ND5 is Latino. The main character and her sidekick, Star Wars Outlaws, are both Latin. We are winning. What are you winning exactly? Probably going to win Seal of the Week. But it actually probably won't win Seal of the Week. But that's a pretty weird take. Who cares? Who cares about the voice actors? Oh, is this because we've gone through all of that stuff with all the voice actors that we've ever had, and if they're voicing like a black character but they're not black in reality, we're going to cancel them? Is that what it is? At least she didn't say Latinx. Well, maybe she should have. Fucking cancelled this Danielle 10 weeks to Ahsoka. Cancelled. Anyway, they are your 4 nominees for this week's Seal of the Week. Just to go through it again. Number 1 is Star Wars Holocron. Number 2 is Brian Young. Number 3 is JJ. And number 4 is Danielle. Let's put the poll in the chat. Fucking somebody whippersnipping right outside my fucking house. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Star Wars Seal of the Week. Get your votes in, guys. Get your votes in. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. While you guys do that, we're going to watch something that I am actually excited for. I actually can't wait to watch this movie. I can't wait to go to the theater and see it. I am really looking forward to this. It is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. So we got this little snippet. Tom Cruise put this out and says, we've done car chases in Mission Impossible movies before, but nothing like this one. Let's watch.
We came to Rome to shoot a chase scene, something with a lot more ambition and unpredictability that we haven't had in previous chases.
We'll be screaming through the streets of Rome, motorcycles, cars.
Everything that we shot is completely practical.
We're doing it right.
I love that. Everything that we shot is completely practical. I mean, most of Tom Cruise's movies are all practical, aren't they? Because they don't mind spending money on good things. And they're going to get rewarded for it.
It all comes down to one thing. How do we involve the audience? I just want to give them that thrill.
We let the city tell us the kind of chase it was going to be. Traffic in the city is notorious, and the cobblestone streets make all of the driving unpredictable. Best part is Tom and Haley, they're handcuffed together.
People are chasing us.
Yes, they are. You're driving.
Tom had to drive one-handed cuffed, for real. No cheating it.
The key is, don't crash.
person?
I have no idea.
Tom is driving and drifting one-handed through the streets of Rome. That was a day I will never forget.
Trying to do drifts every time you think you're going in one direction. It's the cobblestones on the street say, no, you're not. You're going this way.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of this car.
Tom and Haley ditched the car for one of their IMF vehicles.
Suddenly, this tiny little Fiat 500 comes out of nowhere.
We built this Fiat 500 so that it would be faster.
This is cool.
You could barely control the car. It was treacherous.
The Fiat, that was wild.
Some would even say the car is possessed. I don't think we could have made a sequence that was more difficult to shoot if I had gone out of my way to do it. It has really amazing results. It would be impossible without this crew and an actor like Tom.
Looks like we lost them.
Awesome. I can't wait for this movie. Can't wait to see it. I fucking love the Mission Impossible movies. I think Tom Cruise, I think we've talked about it before. Tom Cruise is one of the last actual movie stars that actually cares about the audience and actually cares about giving us some escapist entertainment. You know, if this was Disney or something, they probably would have had her driving as opposed to having Tom driving. You know, it's so exciting to actually have some good entertainment coming out. And after the success of Maverick, Top Gun Maverick, I think that the success of this is just going to be even higher because of that movie, because of what Tom did. And also, too, coming out and saying to everybody, you know, thanking the audiences, thanking the people for going to the theaters and, you know, all the stunts that he's doing. And again, the fact that it's practical effects is really good, too. We mentioned earlier talking about like the volume and all the Star Wars stuff that they've been coming out with, how horrible it's looked compared to stuff that we had even back in the 90s or the early 2000s. You know, they're actually making movies for us to just enjoy, get on the edge of our seat and like look forward to seeing this. Which I think's great. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Yes, that's true. Tony is the home of the Fiat. I mean, it's so funny because when they walk over to that car, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You automatically think, oh, they're going to jump in the Ferrari, right? But no, they get in this little yellow Fiat 500, which has been boosted. Fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. Can't wait. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. When is that due? Well, let me check because it says release date and then there's release date Australia. So here it's coming out on the 13th of July. So we're a little under a month away from it. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. All right, let's see how we went with the poll. All right, that's good enough. That is good enough. Let me bring this up. And we'll end the poll. Oh, wrong button. Poll is ended. Okay. In last place, we had number 3. Gee, I'm surprised. I thought that was going to win. Honestly thought that was going to win. So in last place, we have JJ with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Was not only good because it took us to familiar places, but it had time to introduce a brand new character, Reva, who had an actual arc and completed story with room for expansion. Whenever people talk shit on Kenobi series, side eye. So you wouldn't write eye roll or just put the emoji of an eye roll or something. Anyway, in second last place or equal runner-up, you could say. Gee, why did it do that? It wasn't like that before. Anyway, equal runner-up, we've got Danielle with the voice actors for the Latino characters in the Outlaws video game and the fact that we're winning. And number 1, which is Star Wars Holocron, Daisy Ridley and Dave Filoni at Star Wars Celebration. 2 Star Wars legends. Incredible. And the winner of this week's Seal of the Week goes to Brian Young, the they himself, saying this movie is perfect. 10 out of 10. No notes. Congratulations, Brian. You are this week's Seal of the Week. You get the award of... There you go. I'll give you one of those. Well done.
I'm all the Jedi.
We might do that, Soul Assassin. We'll see. I know that a week from today, so a few hours before I do Casual Rage, I think over on the Full Aussie channel, me and Blabs are going to do a Harry Potter stream because I finished the books and we're going to have a chat about that and talk about that. I will confirm with you guys, though, and let you know over on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, go check that out. Then a Hawkeye review stream. I don't know about that. Dan Blackroyd. I don't know about that. But that's where we end the stream, guys. We're all done. We've gone through everything. I've now got to go and get some food. I've got to go and do a little bit of shopping and stuff. Let me go through and just check here. We are... What's happening? Come on. We are all good on Streamlabs. We are all good on chat, I believe. There was only the 2. I can check over here, actually. Yes. Just those 2 super chats. I appreciate that. Okay, so what have we got coming up? We've got the Full Aussie this weekend, the actual official Full Aussie show. Saturday morning for you guys in the States, Saturday nights. Please go over and give our Full Aussie channel a sub. If you're not subscribed, we'd greatly appreciate that, of course. And we have a lot of fun on those streams. Then, of course, we've got. I'll be on Flashcast again this weekend, as long as all of that goes ahead. And then we've got midweek Happy Hump Day over on the Full Aussie channel. Any mods in the chat, if you can drop the link to the Full Aussie, that'd be appreciated. So yeah, we've got Happy Hump Day midweek stream. We go for an hour and a half. Have a bit of a laugh, watch some stupid, funny videos, and that's really it. It's not a real serious stream in any sense. It's just good to not talk about some of this shit and actually have just a laugh at some stupid shit. And then we're pretty much back to casual rage again. And like I said, I'll let you guys know about that Harry Potter stream, if that's going to happen, over on my Twitter. Yes, you can, of course, go to the spacing. That'll be tomorrow for, well, it's tomorrow for me, so I don't know exactly what time it works out for you guys, but that you can go and see Open Airlock Policy over there. There's the Full Aussie channel. Please go and give that a sub. Oh, no, that's the Lethal Lightning's channel. This one here is the official Full Aussie channel. Go and check that out. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks to all the lurkers and the rewatchers. Appreciate all of you. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Thanks to the members for your continued support. Appreciate you. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to end it right now. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like dusting crops, kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bounce into a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
Be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking it very cautiously.
You... Go away!
Bounce too near a supermarket?
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!